Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another Nerd Nation tier maker list. I am here with my normal compatriot in arms, Zamario, from across the pond. How you doing?
I'm doing great, my cheery old chum. How you doing from
Cheerio,
the
chum.
other side of the world?
So, a little bit of history on the Assassin's Creed franchise. With me is about 10, maybe 8 years ago. No, 8 years ago, about maybe seven. uh, I was looking for a new game to get into, and Zam had said, "Mate, listen, you got to get into this Assassin's Creed game. I really think you'll like it." I'm like, "Ah, it's about killing people and yada yada," and I don't like that kind of stuff. He's like, "Mate, I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. Just try it." So. The completionist that I am, I of course could not start with Assassin's Creed like 2, which is one of the best. I started with 1 and I loved it. And then 2, and then on and on. And because of that, I am here today with my friends Mario, and we are going to rank all of the Assassin's Creed we have played. I have played all except Odyssey. I know, Zam, you have played a majority of these except for the new one
Uh,
and
Rogue,
Rogue.
which was Xbox 360 at the time, and I just finished. I'd given away my Xbox 360, and I was on the next gen console, and they brought out. That was one of the last games they brought out for the previous generation at the time. It was specifically for the previous generation. They never brought it out for PlayStation 4 and shit.
So we have the top tier, which is the Grandmaster Assassin tier. It's just called Grandmaster tier. We have the Assassin tier, which is tier 2, the Desmond tier, which is tier 3, and then the Templar tier, which is the bottom of the barrel. So we got 4 tiers, and so I figure between what 10, 11 games, that's a good ratio. Okay, so how we're gonna do this is we're gonna go in release order. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick, easy synopsis of the game. I'm not gonna get really detailed, and then we give our thoughts on the game, and then we rank it. Bada bing,
Yeah,
bada
fine,
boom.
fantastic.
All right, so we're getting right into it. Zam, Assassin's Creed 1, thoughts?
Well, this is the game that started it all, and you could see even to today's Assassin's Creed that they still pull out ideas from this particular game, like being able to hide in a crowd. I mean, granted, it was a little bit different. You had to find the monks, I believe,
You
to
you can still do that in some of the current games too.
yeah, but you just had to find a crowd. Generally, they made it a little bit easier. And when it came to pickpocketing, you could only pickpocket the fat guys. I remember that, and stuff like that. But I remember one particular point. I was watching this. I mean, this is how good the game was. This is Assassin's Creed One. I'm following some guy I'm supposed to assassinate, and then some random NPC beggar just starts picking a fight with me. It's like, what the hell? And he's like, he's pushing me. I'm thinking, what have you blown my fucking cover here, mate? So I kill him. And then, like, I get told that, assassins don't kill innocent people and stuff like that. And I lost some points for that. But that was pretty cool. Come to think of it, I mean, at the time it was annoying as hell. But thinking that was the first game, that's amazing. Going to different lands, you went to Jerusalem and you went to other places. This was set during the Crusades, I believe, as
Hmm.
well. We got to see Desmond for the first time. We got to see the Templars for the first time.
And Altair
Um,
looked exactly like. I mean, you didn't get to see his face very often, but when you did, he looked exactly like Desmond. So you know kind of what they were going for.
One of the best things about the story was as you learned more, you realized to a degree that it's possibly all your fault for what's happening, and like everything is like every person you kill and you get information from them just before they die, you realize, oh shit, this is not looking good on us. The story is very vague now, but I do recall that, which is one of the most fascinating things about it. This game was still like a husk for what Assassin's Creed would be. I would put this in assassin. Uh, I would I would love to put it right at the top, but I can't. I just can't because unfortunately, when it comes to games which get sequelized, you could always see the improvements in the sequels to a degree,
Yeah, and
and
I mean,
so but
here's the thing about that too
yeah,
is like, I
yeah.
mean, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying like you could see them with the polish and like being able to fine tune some of the issues you had because unfortunately with Assassin's Creed at times when it comes to the parkour it could be I mean it's always been clunky but this was the original clunky
Yeah.
so
Um, I would
yeah.
actually put this one at Desmond tier. Not, not because it's a bad game. It is the original. It is it is the it is the start of it all. I respect the game, but you can definitely see where the games have improved since then. I will put this though at assassin tier just because I agree with you. It is the one that started it all. But if this were my personal list, I would definitely put Desmond tier. But I will concede to assassin tier just because you're right. It is the one that started it all. Um,
Okay, I mean, just saying though, this game was like a revamp of Prince of Persia. So
mhm.
theoretically, Prince of Persia started it all, but we'll say this. But
All right.
okay, Assassin's Creed 2.
Yeah, so we are moving now into one of the most popular games in the franchise, which is Assassin's Creed 2, where we follow Ezio Auditore de Florencia when he is just his family is, and this is spoiler by the way, just in case y'all. His family is brutally murdered by the Templars in a public execution. He becomes an assassin. He's trying to hunt down the Templars, which killed his parent. They killed his family, except for his mother, his sister. I think that was it. So of course they spared the ladies, but his younger brother, I think older brother, and his father were publicly executed. Um, Fantastic game. I love this game. This is the one that got me hooked. I think that this game did a lot for the franchise in solidifying it as a namesake and a household name. I mean, you can say Assassin's Creed to a lot of people nowadays, and they know what it is. If they have a gaming console in their house, they usually know Assassin's Creed, unless they're like Nintendo motherfuckers and they don't do any. And even Nintendo has Assassin's Creed on it now on the Switch, so you can't even say that anymore. So for me, I would put this. I know I'm gonna get shit for this. I would put this assassin tier just because it's not one of my favorites. I feel like the following game did improve upon what this game started. Uh, but I would definitely put this at assassin tier. Zam, what are your thoughts?
I would put this. What was the top tier called again?
Grandmaster tier.
This is Grandmaster. I mean, like, I feel to a degree that almost Assassin's Creed peaked with this game, because it like everything that came from this game, they've added more after this game, but I don't think they've necessarily always improved with Assassin's Creed from this game. What makes Assassin's Creed, you felt that from 1 to 2 with this game, but you felt improvements. But ever since this game, I'm not necessarily sure I've felt improvements since this game, and this is Assassin's Creed 2. You feel changes, but improvements in the overall assassination style. I mean,
The
some
story
of
is one of the things that got me hooked.
I want to
So
get. I'm going to quickly get onto that because first of all, with regarding Desmond at the end of the first one, all we see him is look at this board and he sees it a bit red and he goes, "What the fuck?" and it ends like that, I believe, or "Oh my god." And then with this one, this is where it gets all Twilight Zoney, weird. I mean, we have two stories. I mean, every Assassin's Creed has two stories, which kind of merge into one. But you have the outside, you have the real world, and then you have the Animus. The Animus takes majority of it, but on this particular occasion, what we found out at the end when that was it Juno and what are those things called again? I forgot
yeah,
the
I
name
don't
of the.
remember what. See, that's one of the things that always loses me is the real the modern day stuff. Sometimes I get really lost in that.
But
I
it went
don't.
crazy though. Like it went to another level. Like
In this
we
game,
was
yes, they did.
we were seeing entities now. Like before we were just looking into or using science, but we're now seeing entities. And this person said Desmond's name. Yeah, while Desmond was watching this in the Animus, and Ezio like is stuck with Ezio ever since, right till the third game. This is where like it got me so hooked story wise. I'm like, shit, I'm really like I need to know what the fuck's going on now. Like this story is just amazing, and yeah, this is top. This is like this is Grandmaster tier for me.
All right, so this is the bad part when we don't have a third person here. So we're at an impasse. So I mean, I would be willing to concede to Grandmaster tier, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna hold my reservation for one that's later that I'm pretty sure you're gonna say is not as good as it actually is. Agreed?
Okay, okay, fine.
All right, so Grandmaster tier for Assassin's Creed 2. Next, we move on to the first sequel of a sequel in this franchise, which is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where we continue following the journey of Ezio, and now he's moved to Rome, and he's trying to build the Brotherhood up there. There's a lot more world building for the assassins here. You get to basically help rebuild Rome. A lot of the side questy stuff kind of gets built up in this game. Um, for me, this game is definitely grandmaster tier. I can't. It's been so long since I played this one, but I know that you know that there's a lot of family rivalry in this game. But this game, in my opinion, Assassin's Creed 2 is a grand improvement on one, but I feel like this is the game that really like up the ante for every Assassin's Creed to follow. Um, Brotherhood was definitely a step up in my opinion from one and two, and it was very story driven. It was very well done in my opinion. Rome was just amazing. And they keep improving upon it even in like the remasters and stuff. I mean, I can see it in the remasters that they've done on like PS4 and everything like that. So I'm gonna give this one a Grandmaster tier. Zam, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I have to admit, I don't think this game. I mean, like this game did bring in a few new things that the Brotherhood itself, like recruiting people and stuff like that, which was pretty cool. Um, and then I think you had like the mini games as well about sending them abroad and stuff, didn't you? And
I think that was this one, yes.
yeah, it started that, and which is also pretty cool. I do like this game. I liked it for the story. It progressed the story a lot. This time his uncle died, which was pretty much the last bit of his family
And
he
yeah,
had
that was in the
left.
beginning. Oh, and that's from two. Also building the what was it called? The city or the little
Yeah,
walled
but
off
this,
city.
yeah, because that all got destroyed at the beginning of this one. Like, all your work done.
But it was a
And
but it almost felt like if you played Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, it would feel seamless because remember Assassin's Creed Brotherhood picks up right where 2 left off. Like literally. Like you even had the same equipment on, I believe.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I just remember it from him having to escape. He shagged this bird,
Yeah.
and then he's just escaping on horseback and shit like that. And he sees his uncle die, and then pretty much he has to make a new family, and he's got to be the head of the family by an assassin's order,
Mhm.
which was all very fascinating to me. Um, this game is really good. We're following Ezio. And another thing as well, the soundtrack for not only this game but for the previous one, Assassin's Creed 2, by I forgot his name, Jesper something. I have the
I don't
soundtrack
remember.
on. I have actually, I have it on my YouTube music playlist. It's really good. I've listened to it a few times. It's really good. Some of the tunes, listen to Echoes of Roman Ruins. It's fantastic. You'll recognize that song. Um, yeah, this is Grandmaster. This is a brilliant game.
Okay. All right, the next game on the list. So that is Grandmaster tier. Next game on the list is going to be the conclusion of the Ezio trilogy. It is called Assassin's Creed Revelation. This is where a game where we follow Ezio. He's a little bit older. He's gone to Constantinople. He's
He's
helping
in
the
his 50s now.
yeah. I think he's in his 50s now, late 40s, early 50s. I think. And in this time, keep in mind that was old. Like I mean, I know we talk about people like people are like in their 80s and 90s. Like that was almost unheard of back then. Just because healthcare and everything and technology has brought us so far. But so what this story starts with is actually this is a merger between Assassin's Creed One and the Ezio trilogy, where we see a lot of bleed over between Ezio and Altair. We start off in the beginning at and I don't what is the place I don't remember what the place was called, but
Actually, we did get some moments playing as Altair in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood,
did
I
we?
believe. Yeah, I
Oh,
think we did as well. But this was mainly like the go between. This one,
yeah.
this was definitely the go between. We had a lot more Ezio, we had a lot more Altair moments as well.
Oh yeah.
Things you could do in this game as Altair that you couldn't do in the previous game, like counter and stuff like that. You could do with Altair in this game. You found out more about Altair's the love life and stuff.
Well, and also, I mean, you at the end you got to see his ultimate death. Like
Well,
like it went.
yeah, he went to die. He went to die.
Yeah.
He was 90 years old. Yeah, and his son he left his son in charge, and then he went into that tomb, and you had to find all those bits and pieces, didn't you, to open up that tomb as well yourself.
Yep.
And this game, look, let's just go for the gameplay for a start. I mean, the hook blade was the only thing that's kind of memorable about the gameplay, because I don't think many of the other Assassin's Creed games ever did that. You've got some moments where you can repel, but that's few and far between in other games. This game really want you to repel and use the hook blade and shit like that. It was okay. You had bombs as well, but and you had that tower defense. But overall, this is a very forgettable game in the gameplay. The story is what made this game for me. Um, but unfortunately, it's not enough. Even and the revelations. I'll be honest with you. When I found out when we got the revelations, I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. I had to fucking have this shit spelled out to me because it was like made no sense. What is there? Like, oh, and then like then people had to explain to me there was a civilized. I had no idea. Like there was a civilization before this one. It never really made sense to me in the previous games about a previous civilization. I really had to have this shit spelled out to me. It was that complicated, you know.
It did get very complicated, and that's why I kind of detached from it a little bit.
But then, like what the good thing to come out of this game in a way was that we are leaving Ezio behind, because it was about time that we ended his trilogy, and move on to somebody new. And unfortunately, this game is Desmond tier, and I'm being kind to it. I could possibly put it Templar tier. It's not the best way to finish this trilogy, in my opinion. It's a bit of a sour note, but he got love at the end, which is also great. I'm really happy he found love. He needed that, you know. Yeah,
Okay, so I am going to put this one at Assassin's tier because um, this one is definitely for me. I love this one. I love the tower defense. I loved.
you like the tower defense, or
I did.
somebody has to.
Well, I guess that's true. But yeah, I loved a lot of this game. I loved the story was just fantastic. I liked a lot of the side characters in this game. There were also one of the things that I thought was nice is that you did have like not like assassins of the order, but you had like hired people. Like if you just stood around for like an hour or like 30 minutes or even 15 minutes, somebody would walk up to you and try to kill you. Like there was like like because like one of the things that they had with Brotherhood was how like after a while the banks would give you enough money and then people just let their game run and they'd get like tons of money. In this game, they actually had like people running around that would actually try to kill you if you did that. I mean, it
I
was
know I no idea, but I was always on the move.
well,
You
yeah. I
know,
mean, I thought it was well. I think one time I was like
it was.
sitting there working on my computer and I was looking at something. All of a sudden, some mf'er runs up and stabs me, and I'm like almost dead. And I'm
I
like,
just want to say,
what just happened?
this was also the only. I think this is the only Assassin's Creed game where the place you're exploring is explored by an outsider, because it's Constantinople, it's Turkey,
Mm-hmm.
Istanbul, and obviously Ezio's Italian.
Yep.
And so I don't feel there's another Assassin's Creed game where you're the outsider in this world, if you know what I mean. Every other one, even you could argue with the first one, but I think every other Assassin's Creed game, the people are native to
Yeah,
that
this is the
land.
first one where it's like, well, I mean, you could say that for Valhalla, but we'll get into that later.
Oh yes, yes, of course, yeah. Uh,
Okay, so what you have Desmond tier, I have Assassin tier. I
I'll
will
give it to
I
you.
will go with
No,
Desmond
I'll give it.
tier.
Okay.
Um, just because you are correct, it is forgettable. But I liked a lot of the little quality of life things that they did from Brotherhood to Revelations. Plus, I really enjoyed the story, exploring the lore of the assassins, going back to that first Assassin's Creed
Did you
area. I
did
don't
you
remember what
see
it's called.
that animated thing, which was like the last years of Ezio's life?
Yeah, he was like on a
That was
farm or
brilliant.
something,
Yeah, it was
or
on the. It was really, and there's that moment where he grabs that horn and he just holds it in his hand and uses it like a blade and stabs that guy with it. It was brilliant.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I think it was an antler. It was like an antler or something. He just grabbed it, and it just happened to be a good shape, like to stab somebody like an assassin. It was really good, like the way he attacked him as well, and everything. It was just a really good end to like. It was amazing because he was the only assassin where we saw him being born. and we
Yeah.
see him die, and it was a great way to end that particular anime. And I'm very happy to have seen that. He's probably the most memorable of all the assassins of
Oh,
all of them.
absolutely, 100%.
Ezio, he had free games, so
I would, in my opinion, I would not say he is the best assassin, but I would definitely say he's the most memorable, and his character was fleshed out the best.
a great character, a really good character. He's very likable, and I also like the ending, like him, like saying, giving his respects to Altair when he goes into his tomb, like fantastic stuff.
Oh yeah,
And
and the
those are,
music. So you were talking
yeah,
about in Brotherhood the music. I
it's a
have the
different
Assassin's.
composer
Yeah,
for free.
I know. I have the Assassin's Creed Revelation on my Spotify. Well, years ago on my Spotify, I had the Assassin's Creed Revelation. And when I would like be studying in college, and when I would be like doing stuff like that, I would have it playing, like because it's just so good. Like it's just so good. Um,
Yeah, like
Brotherhood, I didn't have too much of an attachment to, but it was still good. But Revelations, original soundtrack, just so good.
I'll tell you this, yeah, one thing Ubisoft, they do a lot of things wrong, but they tend to get the music right nearly every time. They're really good at getting good soundtracks, good composers, good sorts of some music for the mood of their games. It's the only thing they do right, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, okay, so Desmond Tier then for number three.
Yep.
Sorry for Revelations.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, so moving on to probably a controversial one, at least maybe. I don't know. I know how a lot of people feel about it. I'm not sure about how you feel about it, Sam. Assassin's Creed 3, where we follow Connor, who is a Native American slash or half Native American, half British boy, who this game I loved this game a lot, and then there were parts where I'm like, what? And in this game gave us one of our first most shocking moments where you're following a guy literally for the first three chapters of the game, and he turns out to be first off he turns out to be the main protagonist's dad, and second off he's a fucking
In
Templar.
Templar, yeah,
Like, and you don't know it. You don't
I
know it
loved
till the
it.
very, very end, and he puts on the ring and it says, "Welcome to the Templar Order," and we're like, "What?"
Yeah,
So,
it was,
I do feel like this game did have a very slow start, and I feel like they learned that lesson. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like
with the
they.
with the following game, yeah, they did, but I didn't mind. I didn't mind the slow start. Honestly, I did it because Assassin's Creed needs to be good story. And
Hmm.
recently, unfortunately, it hasn't been. But I think it really needs to be good story. And one of the good things, like some of the sort of like panpipe sort of flute music in the game to give the moods, and like you really feel. I mean, Connor was one of the few assassins I could relate to. You know, just like indifferences in between cultures, discrimination, stuff like that. And still trying to be the good guy at the same time, and never going down that dark path and being as bad as the people who are fucking with you. You know what I mean? He was a great, yeah, for me. Connor is a great character. A lot of people shit on Connor. I don't. I think he's a fantastic character. But unfortunately, even though there's some great moments in this game with the rope dart and using the body for a shield and stuff like that. I think you could do that in the previous games. I'm not sure,
I think you
but
could.
yeah. But I love that. By the way, I wish they could bring that back more. Human shield and stuff like that. I did find some of the gameplay a bit clunky, but this game introduced the pirate element as well, going on shore, and the
As well
pirate
as the
element
hunting element, I
and the
feel.
hunting as well. Yeah, as well, and going through the trees and stuff like that was pretty cool. I think I found the story of this game to be fantastic as well. I really did enjoy the game a lot, but I do feel, and I'm saying this from a British perspective, that I think sometimes you guys in the states make this thing between the United Kingdom and America very black and white, and I don't think it's black and white as well. And I've always, and just not to go too historical here, it was British people versus British people. British people who wanted to be who didn't want to be under the crown, and British people who wanted those people to remain under the crown, because the real Americans are people like Connor, I mean, who had to share their land with these other people and stuff like that. So it's just so
I
much
don't disagree with you on that. Actually, that is a 100% legitimate argument. That is 100% accurate.
And so, like, Um, you know, just seeing all of this, it was just a great game. You know, it was going to touch a few nerves, stuff like that. But him really wanted to be, you know, like you almost wanted him and his father to be together. Like they weren't giving each other an inch, but at the same time they were trying. You know, you almost saw it. They were trying to be like father and son, but it was never going to happen. And him having to kill his own dad, like you could understand. You could understand. Like what more could he do? Like you know, it was great. It was fantastic. And it's just a shame the gameplay wasn't good enough for this game. I don't know where to put it. I'll be honest with you. What about yourself? I'll decide. I'll go with you wherever you decide.
This was the game that seriously got me into this franchise. I'm not gonna lie. This was a fantastic game. Maybe it's because it was about the American Revolutionary War, and well, the British Revolutionary, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it was, and I love the fact that they didn't really pull any punches. I mean, it's not black and white, and you're right, Sam. And that's one thing that I feel like they made apparent in this game, that it's not black and white, and not everybody was like, there were people that were bending to propaganda. There were people that were trying to instill propaganda. You know what I mean? Like they made it seem like Connor was the true American in this, because he was in the middle, and he's like,
Yeah,
look, I don't care about the crown, I don't care about you colonists. Like I want my land safe, and I want to protect the people that I love most, which is the people around him. And I mean, what everything that happened, his village getting burned, I get it. Sometimes, I mean, in the beginning, I get it when people have some issues with Connor, but at the same time, Connor is a fantastic assassin. Like, he is the pinnacle, in my opinion. He is the pinnacle of a what an assassin should be.
he's
Um,
also like he's arguably one of the most henchest, one of the biggest,
hmm
because he's a brute of a man.
and
He's not a
he's a
small guy.
beast.
He's a beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's a big guy.
and I
I
mean,
think he's
just
the biggest. I think he might be the biggest assassin.
and
You
honestly,
know,
like a lot of the modern day stuff, like there, and I felt there was the biggest disconnect between the modern day stuff and what's going on in the past, only because Connor just wasn't even into any of that. Like he didn't even care. And that's kind of how I like it. I like it when the modern day stuff is disconnected from the past stuff, and I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense, but I like it better when what's going on in the past is not really connected with what's in the future. I don't mind doing the future stuff every now and then, but if the future stuff was its own entity, yeah, or
present
present
day.
day, sorry, present day was its own entity, and then the past stuff and the animus was its own. I like it better. But this game, I mean, it introduced the hunting mechanics. It introduced. You're right. It was the inception of the pirating mechanics and the seafaring mechanics that we will get to in one of the next games. Just to me, this game is Grandmaster tier. Like I
Really, I
this is
can't go with you on that. I'm afraid.
well, I'm gonna cash in my give here, because this is the game that I was like, I don't know if you're gonna put it Grandmaster, but that's where I would put it.
I was gonna put it between Assassins and Singy, simply. But like, I played this game again recently because it was free, um, on PlayStation, and it was buggy as fuck. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking to myself, "Damn, this doesn't feel like the same experience I
and
had
and that might be
before."
true. I haven't played this one also in a hot minute, but I,
And that's why I like I I disagree, but I'll give it to you. But this game, like the way it ended as well, like Desmond dying, and you find out that that this solar flare happens every couple of millenniums,
yeah,
or so. Basically, it all boils down to a sucking solar flare that happens all the time, and basically life restarts itself whoever survives it,
yeah,
but unfortunately there's not enough people to survive it, so certain things just become myth and legend, and people end up growing up in a world where they never knew that there was a civilization before that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating. And Desmond was going to be like a Jesus Christ figure. You know what I mean? Coming from all of this, it was fascinating, and the fact that he put a stop to this was amazing. This goes way back, I think, to Brotherhood, where we see Adam and Eve. For fuck's sake, remember?
hmm
I mean, Jesus Christ! Like the way they were linking, like this is what made the game so fascinating to me. But I felt like they were after this game, unfortunately, when it came to the modern day story, they were stretching the fuck out of it, you know. But this game culminated it amazingly, but it still left the door open for more because he decided to put the bubble around the Earth to stop it from being affected by the Juno bubble.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
But all right. Look, I'll give you for the sake of it being a culmination. I'll give it to you. But I think most people who watch this will disagree.
Probably, and that's okay. I mean, as I said, I was saving my give. I gave you a couple. I was like,
You're lucky because like I said, this game pulls on my heartstrings.
yeah,
It really does. It really does. There's a lot in this game that I can relate to. And that's why I'm giving it to you.
okay. All right. So the next one is this one. I consider this to be a part of the franchise because it's very well done. And I don't know if you've played this one, Zam. Assassin's Creed Liberation, which we
Is that
follow.
is that the one with the girl?
Yes.
That was a mobile game, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but they remastered it and brought it out for the PS4 or
Oh
three.
no, we started to talk about these side scrollers and stuff like that.
No,
And
no, 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 no. Okay, no, no side scrollers. I
okay, that's fine.
included,
That's fine. That's fine because with this particular one, I haven't played it, but I have seen it, and I do like what it is. Like I do know that you have three outfits. You can wear your assassin's outfit, I believe.
which lets you run around and jump from
Uh,
building to building and
yeah, and do
assassinate
shit.
people and everything.
Yeah,
Yep,
you can then wear your what was the other
it's
outfit?
like a duchess or a not a duchess, but you
Yeah,
know what I mean, like a
there's the high society one
yeah high society.
where you can only do assassinations, I believe.
Well, and plus you can get into anywhere really. I mean, you can walk by
Yeah,
guards, and I mean, so it's whatever the mission calls for.
yeah, and there was a middle one as well,
Yeah,
like
that was the slave outfit where she can just wear like, just ratty clothing and she can do a lot of things and if
get
she
by
all
a few places and
yeah,
stuff.
she can
Yeah,
get into certain places and like if she's carrying something with her, it looks like she's working, so the guards will be less likely to kind of pay attention to her.
interesting.
So it
So,
no, it's
so,
I love this mechanic and I'm so freaking sad that they have not brought this mechanic into at least another game in some fashion.
but this would be also the first assassin that wasn't related to Desmond,
No, she was related to Desmond in some way, I
was
think.
she?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
But I feel like it. But I mean, and like her, and in the end, spoiler alert, her mom was a Templar, and she was, and like her mom
Was
knew she
she?
was
I
an
know I did.
assassin the whole time.
I had no idea, but I don't mind being spoiled this. I'm glad you told me this. But so her mum's a Templar, and she knew that she was an assassin.
Yeah, and she let her do whatever she was because she does love her daughter, but at the same time, her daughter was kind of taken in by an assassin and trained her and everything like that. And I think her mom might have known the whole time, but the story in this one, and it's not, it's probably about a 12, 15 hour game, like in total. But I mean, you
But
definitely, you
it
go
just
to,
sounds like they copied the Connor idea and just flipped it on its head, um, by making it women. And I have no problem with that, but it doesn't sound original. And like at least with Connor, you have to explain something to me because at least with Connor and Haytham, like they were apart, which is why he became an assassin and why he was a Templar. If they
mm,
were together, then how did she end up being an assassin and she was still a Templar?
or me, it might have been, and this has been a while, but it might have been she let the assassins train them so she could infiltrate them. And then she was, I think, revealing herself to her daughter to yeah, you know what, okay, so it's coming back to me now. So I believe that what happened was is that she let the assassins train her so she could get within their graces, and then she was going to try to appeal to her daughter and say, look, join me with the Templars, let's kill the assassins, use all the training they gave you, let's kill them. And I think in the end you have the choice, you can either join your mom or kill her. I believe that's how it goes.
Fair enough.
So
Anyway, I've got no say in this,
I'm
but from what you've told me, I'm happy to put it in Assassin's tier.
okay, I would agree with that. I was willing to settle on Desmond, but I mean, I thought there were a lot of good mechanics in this game. It is a mobile game slash remaster, whatever you want to call it. So
I think Assassin's Creed games need to do more of that, more infiltration by disguise and stuff
hmm
like Hitman does. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. I really feel it needs to add that to its gameplay. And people might still copy Hitman, but who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? As long as it maintains I mean, Hitman has copied Assassin's Creed where you can do like hang off ledges and shit like that and pull people down and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
anyway,
All right, so the next one we're going into is the first Assassin's Creed game I played that was brand new when it came out. And this is going to be Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This is a Assassin's Creed game that where a I'm trying to remember. It was a ship there was a ship battle and what was his name?
well, the assassin,
Yeah.
I forgot the assassin. I mean,
Is it
Edward was not an assassin. He was just a regular deckhand. Wait,
is it William? I don't see. I
oh,
don't even remember his name.
Edward Kenway.
Edward Kenway. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I thought
So
you meant the
okay.
assassin that he takes the clothes off. I thought you meant him.
Yeah. No. 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 Yeah. Edward Kenway. He there's a battle. He gets the assassin's garb. He gets stranded on an island. He then starts to learn about this world between the assassins and the Templars, and really just wants booty. And I'm not talking about ass. I'm talking about treasure. Um,
I
and
look. If I can quickly start by saying that I like this game, but I've always been bugged by the fact that he just puts on an Assassin's Creed outfit and all of a sudden he's a fucking assassin. I always found that very, very weird. Plus,
I find
the
that very
Caribbean,
bad.
yeah, weird and bad, very bad. I also find that in the Caribbean, you shouldn't be wearing all that shit. You know, it's hot as fuck out there, and he's wearing all this bloody Assassin's Creed clothing. I think they should have made a much more cooler. When I say cooler, I don't mean as in, hey, I'm cool. I mean cooler as in more aero, more airflow going through the outfit and stuff. Sort of assassins, like something sleeveless, something like that, something which fits in with the dynamics of the area he's in. But I do like this game. I do like this game a lot. I mean, one of the first things that made me appreciate next generation consoles was this game because there was no fucking loading screens when getting on the boat, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? There was no loading screens. It was amazing to play this whole world going everywhere you want and not have a goddamn loading screen. Maybe when you go into certain buildings, but when you can go on shore, you can go offshore, go on the island, this, that, and the other. It was unbelievable. This game was missing things like the high rise buildings and stuff like that, but you give it a pass for the other things it was doing.
Well, and on
I
top of
like,
that, I mean, you look at where the time period and where it was at. I didn't expect high rises. Here, I had a couple issues with this game. First off, the story was garbage. Like the story was absolute
yeah, I
garbage in my
agree. I
opinion.
agree.
And I mean that even harkens back to the fact that in the beginning he just throws on the assassin's cloak and hey, I'm an assassin. And I mean, he did get resistance from the order when he finally found them in the game, but still, the gameplay in this, or not the gameplay, the pirating and the plundering, that was all fun. The story was absolute garbage. The present day storyline with the first person view was garbage. um
That was awful. I have to admit, that was absolutely awful.
I
I didn't like. They were really trying to prolong the present. This is when the present day storyline was falling apart now
well, yeah, because
because
they killed Desmond in 3.
they killed Desmond and Free, and then they didn't know what to do with it. Um, yeah, it was bad, but I do like this game. I do like this game a lot.
It
I
was
think
the only thing this game had going for it is that it was fun. I mean,
it was fun. It's a fun and the game. Sometimes, unfortunately, like when it came to Assassin's Creed after this game, the story became less significant for me, and I loved the modern day story in the previous games, but it was falling apart. So I just appreciated this game for what it was. I thought Edward was a great character. I did appreciate him. I loved the shooting mechanics where you had more guns on your body and stuff like that.
uh,
You could do more shots and stuff. I didn't mind that. Um, I just, I thought the fighting mechanics were pretty good. I thought there was more variation in this game. I thought that the pirating mechanics was a lot better as well. It was a good game. I'm willing to put this Grandmaster tier, but I'll go with whatever your decision is.
I would honestly, this game for me, I would put it Desmond tier. So I mean, we can settle on Assassin tier, which is tier
No, I'm
2.
fine. I'm fine with that.
I mean, I just there were going from Assassin's Creed 3, which was in my opinion phenomenal. I get it, there were little bugs and stuff, but like the story in this one was garbage. The modern day was the present day was garbage. Edward
It was
Kenway was a garbage character. The only thing that I liked
I
about
liked him.
him was that he built the little island getaway or whatever he built. Like, like I like that kind of stuff. And that was I, I didn't like the character even, and it had sharks. You had to swim with sharks, and I don't like freaking sharks.
I didn't mind it, but you're absolutely right. The modern day story was absolutely garbage, and it's also the first prequel we got as well in Assassin's Creed,
Hmm.
because we were going backwards in time a little bit. Um, I yeah, I do like this game though. I find this game fun. If I had a chance to play it again, I would. It's a good fun game. It's got all these sort of Assassin's Creed mechanics done right. I do like the character of Desmond. It is a bittersweet thing knowing that whatever happens, kind of happens after this shit. Um, yeah. Anyway,
All
it's
right.
okay, I guess.
So the next one, I don't want to spend too much
Oh,
time
but
on
well, sorry.
this.
One more thing. We
Oh.
we ended up coming across this being that gets reincarnated
Oh yeah, that bullshit
with
too. God,
his mustache, with his
yeah,
handlebar
his weird
mustache.
old Hulk Hogan mustache.
Anyway,
I knew as soon as I saw that handlebar mustache, I said, what is this
there
dude's
was a
problem?"
massive monument for him as well. He must have been in the previous civilization.
I get,
You
yeah.
know, you know, it's-
Okay, so we're not going to take too much time with this, but did you ever play the addition to, which I consider this a part of the franchise only because I liked a lot of this, the Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, where
yeah, I did. I played that. I like that too. Where you played as a oh god, his mate who used to be a slave.
yeah, and
Yeah,
he had more of a Caribbean outfit because he had like no sleeves and like he was like jacked and he's just like and he
yeah,
was freeing slaves. I had a lot even though it
yeah.
was a short game. I had a lot
I
of fun
got
and I
that.
would
You,
have
you
played
get
a
that
whole
gold
game
blade.
with him.
Yeah, me too. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Yeah, pirate mechanic. You get the gold blade, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that immediately. I love the way you like. You can when you do a counter, you can hold it there, and then I love it. I love that
And
shit, man.
he walked around with like the two shotguns or two like
Yeah,
he could like shoot you with the two big guns or something like that. Oh, it was so good. I would have much rather a whole game based around this character. His name's like what was his name? I don't remember. But I would have
a
played a whole
cote
game
or
based,
something like that.
huh?
A cote or something like
Yeah,
that.
I would have played a whole game around him rather than Edward Kenway. I'm sorry, I would have. So I don't know. I mean, so you've played it. So where would you put that one at? Like
Um,
I know it was
I'll
just
put it.
like
I'll put it. I'll put it. It was more enjoyable than I realized. I'll put Assassin's tier.
okay. Assassin's Creed Rogue, where we have Shay Patrick Cormac, who is a originally an assassin, and you get to meet all of these assassins, and this is actually takes place in the middle, like of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the time between Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Assassin's Creed 3. So there's a lot of blending elements in here that I love the world building.
You're like in
Um,
the Canadian Rocky area, aren't
yeah,
you?
and you're also in the you're in the Canadian Rocky area. And up towards the north and up in Canada, like further north. Even I think you even get up towards Iceland. I think.
Really?
I
Oh, but
think I'd have to
all I
look at the
remember
map. I think it's been a
it was
while.
it was a snowy game. That's all I remember
Yeah,
from
it's a
it.
very snowy game, and it that was a nice aesthetic because you go from Black Flag to Rogue, and you're like, oh, I can just jump in the water and swim. No, no, you can't. I mean, you can, but it's like you can't stand that water very long.
It's too cold.
Yeah. So Shea Patrick Cormac, and what's the guy? So there's a lot of merger characters here between Black Flag and 3. You have a younger versions of what was the guy's name in 3?
Connor Trainer, yeah.
Yeah, the trainer.
And then
Um,
you got also
and then you've
uh got what's his name? You got an older version of Connor's mate. You know, the
yeah,
guy who had
and
his own
he was
freedom
in
cry.
there, and then you also have Hatham Kenway in there
I
as
hate
because
him in there. Yeah.
yeah, he's
Do
a
you
younger
play as
lad.
him?
I think this takes place like what 10 years?
No, but do you play as Hatham at all?
I don't think you play as Hatham at all. You see
Okay.
him and you work with him. But
Yeah.
so what I love about this game is that the first 3 or 4 chapters in this game, you are an assassin and you are trying to hunt down this piece of Eden and everything. And this kind of brings to light some of the issues that a lot of that the assassins have is that they're no holds barred, stop the Templars no matter what. And what happens is that Shay is a part of a just an epic disaster in I think it's Libya, I think.
In Libya.
Yeah.
That's in that North Africa.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's definitely not in like the area you originate in. It's a city that's like outside.
So
Like
you're
I
like
think
on a
it is North
mission or
Africa.
something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like right by Spain. So so you start there, and there apparently was an earthquake like in history at this point. It was a tragic earthquake. Well, what Assassin's Creed is implying that like destroyed the whole city. Is that this was caused by, them sending Shay in to get a piece of Eden, and he removed it, and that's when like the whole thing just started collapsing, and
That's where you change the allegiances.
that's when he changed allegiances because he thought that the assassins were just their no holds barred attempt to get to stop the Templars to get, and he felt that it was wrong. And just yeah, like it was the story in this game to me is so phenomenal, and by the end of the game you are killing the people you got to know and trained you in the beginning of this game, and they don't hold back either. You are literally like, they don't go like, oh, you let them go. No, you kill every single one of them. Like, you have to kill Edward, Kenway's mate.
It's like
Like,
Jedi and Sith, isn't it?
uh-huh.
It's so Jedi. It's so
Yeah, oh
Jedi and
yeah, it's
Sith.
very
Like,
Jedi and Sith. And so it's like, you have to kill, you kill, um
you
you
kill you kill Edward's mate. You kill and then you cripple the trainer
yeah,
because
and
you
you do.
see him
Yeah, you're
walking.
the
Yeah,
one who's responsible for that. And and there's a lot of elements in this game that do carry over from Black Flag, and from Black Flag from 3, and even from 2. There
you
was
can
some.
kill civilians in this game. I remember that too.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah,
can because
with
you're
no
you're a
repercussions because you're a Templar.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I feel like this game really like increased the gray area between the assassins and the Templar. Like, it was very like in the beginning it was very fine line. It got a little bit bigger with Black Flag, and now I feel, and even with 3, and I feel like with Rogue the gray line just got so big because you honestly by the end of the game you kind of agree with Shay on a lot of the things he's doing, because he's like, look, I don't agree with you guys, and I don't agree with the assassins, and maybe he just had an issue with that branch of the assassin order, and maybe, but at the same time he did have a lot of problems with their core ethics on things. And I love it. I loved it the way they did it. I love the turn. They took time, they let it ferment. And he Shay picked it. Shay could have gone back to the assassins, or he could have gone on his own, but no, he picked to go 180, and he's like, look, I'm joining the Templars. He said, I believe what their organization is doing, and he made a compelling argument. And that's what I loved about this game. I loved exploring the Arctic area. It's nice. It's different, and I get it. There's a lot of like game mechanic copies from a lot of previous games. I understand that, but I feel like they perfected a lot of that, and I feel like the story just put this leagues above anything else that's come before. Honestly, including Brotherhood and 2, in my opinion. So I don't know, Zam. Go ahead, jump on in from. I know you haven't played it, but I know you've seen it, and I know you've
Is
to
any
see it.
modern day in this? Any modern day story in this? Because
I don't think so, which is another reason why I probably love it.
so there's nothing. You just go straight into the game. There's no animus or anything like
There
that.
might I think there might have been a small little modern day thing in it, but I think it was very minimal, which, as I said, is another reason why I love this game.
Because it like I mean the interesting thing about this game for me is just how it ties in. I mean this is almost like to a degree Haytham's game in a way. Like you had Edward, Haytham, Connor. You had the whole trilogy of the Kenways.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what intrigued me about this game. It's a shame I've never played it. I would like to have played it. I would definitely have played it if it was available to me when I would, but unfortunately I had got rid of my 360 by then. Um, I'll go with whatever you suggest. It sounds like a good game. What I saw was good. Some of it was really heartbreaking but understandable. Great for story. Seeing him killing off, certain characters you've grown to love in the other Assassin's Creed games, like Kenway's mate. Um, and that was an amazing scene, by the way. Him chasing him to
Hmm.
kill him. It was an amazing, amazing scene and really, really heartbreaking.
Hmm.
Give it whatever, man. I'll go with you.
I mean, I it's my favorite Assassin's Creed game to this date, so I would give it Grandmaster. But I
Fair
mean,
enough. Fair enough.
so yeah, but it is on honestly, and I know people will disagree with me. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's a carbon copy of Black Flag. No, it's not. It is really not. It is. I mean, some of the game mechanics, I understand why people say that, but they also did some improvements on it. As I said, it's not a particularly long game, so I will give it a negative in that aspect. But I still feel like the story and the character of Shay Patrick Cormick, and just all of that, just puts it leagues above a lot of the other stuff that's come recently and before. Um, and I wish we had more games like this, honestly. And I know people are screaming at their screen right now because they're like, "That's what's wrong with Assassin's Creed." Anyway, all right. So now we're going to move on to the French Revolution, which is Assassin's Creed Unity. Zam, why don't do you want to take this one? I've talked
Yeah,
a bit
okay.
much.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, this game actually is in a similar time period to Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed um Rogue. It's set during the French Revolution, but it's in a different part of the world. It's set in France. It's set during the time of the French Revolution, I believe. Um, you play as Arno,
Hmm.
and the makers of this game, they were very much influenced by the Musketeer movies, in my opinion, because they gave all these Frenchmen fucking English accents. Uh, even like look, in the other Assassin's Creed games, everyone spoke English, but they had the accents of the countries that they were from, except for this game, and that's a bit stupid in my opinion. It's a good looking game. There's a lot of elegance with the fencing. The assassination in this game is great. The parkour in this game is great. But when this game first came out, it was buggy as fuck, and it was incomplete. Which is one of the problems with this game. I started losing track now. I can't even remember if Layla Hassan comes on the scene in this game or not. No, she doesn't. Does she? I can't
I
remember.
don't think so. I think she starts in Origins
Yeah, like when it comes to the modern day, I don't have the foggiest of anything to do with the modern day in
because at
this
this
game.
point it's all forgettable. Like the modern day, the present day storyline is all forgettable at this
I'm
point.
really am struggling to remind myself what happened at all because there's always something. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Um,
I do remember that Arno felt a lot like a Ezio. I did like a generic version of Ezio. Like he was trying to be a ladies' man, also, but he was in love with this one lady who was a Templar. And,
but he was a bit square though. He never had like he was a bit rug. He wasn't smooth.
oh
He
yeah,
wasn't
he did
smooth.
not have the it factor in any way that I felt. I mean,
He
uh,
tried to. He was a bit wooden compared to Ezio. But I got like this game like the assassinations in this game are fantastic. The way you can kill people, and it's a very elegant game when done right. And when you move, if you really like this game, really gives you like one of the first few games where you can really move about, assassinate someone, move about, go somewhere else, run up the wall, jump there, assassinate someone. This game was kind of trying to really do that. You know what I mean?
well, they
Just
really they revamped the, especially for PS4 at this point. They
mhm.
really revamped the whole parkour system too. I mean,
Yeah.
they really revamped that.
But unfortunately, when I was playing this game, it wasn't complete. It was still quite buggy. It's a lot better now. It's a lot better now. I don't know where to put it. I'll put it maybe at Desmond tier. I want to put it Assassin's tier. It's not that bad, but it's not great either.
I would agree with you on Desmond tier only because it's very forgettable, and I mean I don't
I
like the
do
main character that
I do want
much.
to add that the beginning of this game is the end of Rogue, which is
Yes,
kind of nice, which is cool, and there is some good fan fiction out there where um Connor Kenway comes over to France and he joins forces with Arno to find Shay,
yeah.
which was
I
pretty
don't think I've
cool.
played that or seen that, but I've heard of that
So yeah,
because Shay kills Arno's father.
yeah, he does. Yeah, so that's why, and they join forces, and then this it's really good. I'll send it to you. It's really well done, and like like there's a particular time Connor's maybe like getting into his 40s as well. So he's not so like he sees Arno, he sees his ginger haired girlfriend, the Templar girl, makes him think, maybe I should go back to my country and start a family and shit like that, which is how it ends, which is pretty cool. It's a
Gotcha.
really good fan fiction, but I really wish in a way that they could get that triangular thing there because Shay's around. He is a fucking Templar. He killed Arno's dad. Arno should get revenge for that. And at the same time, this person was trained by Connor's dad.
Yeah.
There's,
Could you imagine that face off between the three of them? Like,
oh man, yeah, but Arno and Connor would be on the same team.
well, I feel like Shay could at least. I feel Shay could definitely take Arno.
But Shay would be quite an old man by now. He would be in his maybe 60s to
Yeah, I guess that's
70s.
true. So I still
Yeah,
I still say he could take Arno, but yeah, even Connor in his 40s and 50s would still be a really hard one to defeat.
a guy who has to live off the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be just naturally, physically very hard to beat.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's an assassin.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, I would put this game at Desmond tier, but I mean, if you want Assassin tier, we can do that.
no, no,
But
no, 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 Desmond, fine, fine.
okay. All right. So next, Zam, I'm gonna let you do this one too, because we're moving on to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and this is in your motherland.
Well, we have is it Evie and what was the brother's name again? And I forgot their surname. The Fries,
Yeah, the
the Fry,
fries.
the Fry twins. So this is the first time in the main game you could play as a woman. Obviously, you could before in that other game you mentioned,
Which,
but
by
this
the
is in the
way, I feel like is lacking in the Assassin's Creed franchise.
yeah,
I
I
feel like
agree.
you need to be able to play as more women, not for like the weird cat lady reasons, but just because women bring a different dynamic in the Assassins, like in the
I love
Assassins.
Evie Fry. I love Evie
I
Fry.
know I love Evie too. That's why I played as her
Evie is
as
a
much as I
great
could.
character. She's such a sweet girl as well. She's there's more to her than meets the eye. I mean, immediately think to herself, dude, she's gonna be some fucking cold-hearted Iron Lady sort of bitch. But no, she's witty. She bounces off her brother really well. Um, Jacob Fry.
Yeah, Jacob Fry. That's it.
Yeah,
I was trying to look it up, and I'm like, I know this.
I like Jacob too. But you can see Jacob. But the fighting mechanics in this game, they really try to do the old British, fisticuffs sort of stuff, and I did not like it at all. These guys are assassins, whether they're British or not. They bring a different dynamic to the fights that people from their native land could never comprehend. You know what I mean? Like they're bringing in like capoeira, martial arts, all types of shit into their fighting style. Um, and I did not see that in this game. Didn't enjoy the fighting mechanics. It's an okay game to a degree.
I
You
liked.
know,
I mean, this is kind of where you got into like the territories again, because you basically had to liberate all the territories from like a certain like from Templar rule, which was also like the Templars were being ran by a different gang or something like that, and you had to liberate all those
yeah, you had the
areas.
rooks and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, and you know like you
and
had
you're
to do
going.
like the whole like basically street fight to beat and then you have to kill the Templar boss or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, I
it
mean,
was very much. It was gangs of New York in London.
yeah,
It was very much like that. It
very
was
good
gangs of New
comparison.
York. Yeah, because you had the massive top. I mean, I would have this fucking top hat like this, and I'm fighting people, and this shit would never fall off my head. You know,
It's talent. Jacob's talented. I mean, what can we say?
but the horse carriages was okay. I guess at least it gets you about. Um, this game, this game is Desmond tier.
Okay, I agree with you. I enjoyed this game more than Unity, but
It
I
didn't
agree
feel
with
like it.
you.
It didn't feel much of a. It felt like a sideways step from Unity. We just had Paris. Now we're in fucking London. There's not much difference there, is there?
Well,
It is the industrial age. It was the furthest forward we got
hmm
in at time and stuff like that. But I felt like, come on, we need to get the fuck out of Europe. We need. There's so many parts of the world. I know people say well, we've been to the Americas. Yeah, I know, but there's still lots of world. Yeah, where we've got different types of people, and we need to start maybe focusing on them.
oh, you mean like
Yeah,
feudal Japan, maybe? Wink, wink.
maybe
Ubisoft.
you know Asia as well, all over Asia. South America, Africa. It just there's places for story if you make note of the history and then create a story arc from that. You know.
Yeah. All right, Zam. So now we're getting into the nitty gritty. The last three games. We have in this one. I'm not gonna lie. I never finished this game because I did not like it at all. I had issues with the game, the mechanics. I had issues with the story. I had issues with even the setting. Sometimes was just a bore. Assassin's Creed Origins. So I'm just gonna come out and say it. Templar tier. I stopped playing Assassin's Creed for many years because of this game, and it was boring, and I didn't like the main character. I didn't even like a lot of the story. I didn't even finish the game. I think I got about halfway through, and I'm just like,
And it
yeah,
brought
I'm done.
ranking into it as well, so you had to do a lot of grinding, or you couldn't go to this area
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like, like I'm thinking to myself, I'm about to assassinate this guy, and yet somehow, even though I'm sneaking up right behind him, my blade does not enough damage because he's a 32. It's like, come on, this game is awful. You're absolutely right. I do. The storyline wasn't too bad. The Bayek character wasn't too bad. There was some interesting moments in the story, like how his son died and all of that. And really, he was not. He might have been the first assassin. Obviously, he changes that to a degree, but he never really. The order kind of not started with him. It started with his partner.
yeah.
We
I
kind
didn't
of
even
find
get that
out.
far in the storyline. That's what I'm saying. Like they say it's Assassin's Creed Origins, but it's just like you're just
Well,
running around for
the
hours. Like,
the at the end of the game, if you don't mind me spoiling it for you,
oh, I don't care. That's fine.
at the end of the game, it's I believe you assassinate Julius Caesar, um, because Julius Caesar gets assassinated by all his friends Brutus and all those guys. I'm not sure if you know the story. The people around him are the people who kill him, and that's kind of how it is. But some of them are assassins and stuff. And like you see Bayek's girlfriend, she grabs just a white cloak to infiltrate the place, and that ends up being the stereotypical outfit of the assassin. But it was just her grabbing a cloak just to infiltrate a place. You know what I mean? You know, um,
I don't need something grandiose, but I need something better than that.
she gives shit as well to then Cleopatra. It says, "So look, don't fuck with us. We'll fucking kill you too." We represent. Like basically, Bayek kind of was um, like a
Hitman?
government policeman.
Oh,
He was there. He was a magi. He was there,
yeah,
go around, sort people's problems out. Eventually, Bayek got fed up of helping. He was supposed to be a good person, but the people he worked for were bad. So he changed his outlook and things and thought, fuck, I'm not working for them anymore. I'm 100% working for the. He became like a Robin Hood. You know what I mean? Got his girlfriend involved and shit like that, and other people who followed him and believed in him. And that's how the sort of brotherhood started, hence the origins. It's a shit game with the fighting mechanics are terrible.
yeah.
I
They
did not
tried to
like
change it up, and I hated. I
RPG.
hated.
They went RPG in this game, and
No, they didn't go. They did not go RPG in this game. It was hack and
role playing game.
slash. It
Yeah,
was
yeah, I know, but yeah, but
like
that's
Dynasty
RPG.
Warriors level of hack and
Yeah,
slash.
but with the ranking and stuff like that,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. Okay, you're talking
yeah,
about like yeah. Okay,
yeah, and also like yeah, it was hack and slash. It's not what you like.
you
I
want
want to be
precision in a game.
an elegance. I want to be an assassin.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's like
yeah,
Resident Evil. You go from it being a survival horror with resource management to like kill the horde with as many bullets as you can find.
but this also left a really bad taste in my mouth. I'm thinking to myself, damn, this is not going to be the next few Assassin's Creed games, is it? Is it? Like
No, I didn't even.
so.
I mean, honestly, this one turned me off from Odyssey. Like, I have not played. I own Odyssey because I'm an idiot and I bought it for $20, and I'm like, I'll get around to it eventually. I did not buy this on launch day. It was the first Assassin's Creed since.
You
Uh,
own the game and you've never played it.
I have not played it. Yeah, no, I bought it for $20 with the intent because I wasn't paying no goddamn full price for it after Origins. Um, I
Yeah, yeah. Let's throw this in the bin. This is Templar
Oh
tier.
yeah, I already put it in Templar tier. Yeah, I
This
figured
is
we agreed
shit.
on that. All right, now we're moving on to the game. As I just said, I have not played, but Zam has, so I'm going to let him take the reins again on this one. Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Now, I want to say that I wasn't going to get this game. I really wasn't. But people were saying, because initially when I saw the trailers for this game, I thought to myself, "Fuck me, it looks a lot like Origins, but set in Greece, and that's just up the road from Egypt, for fuck's sake."
Up the
And we've
road from
got
Egypt.
and we're not going forward in time; we're going backwards in time. And so this is before Origin, so this is not even Assassins anymore. What the fuck is this? So I was not very much into this, and then like they started bringing mystical creatures into it and stuff like that. It really kind of lost its way to a degree. But what made me get the game were people saying that this game's fun to play. It's good fun to play and stuff like that.
So it
Was
sounds
I
like it's a lot like Black Flag for me. Like it's fun, but it's like yeah,
It is fun at times, but it's grindy. It's grindy, man. I never paid jack shit. I put in a lot of hours into this game. I put a lot of my life into this game. I put over, I think, we're talking we're talking minute for minute, yeah, second for second. I've put in close to 2 weeks of my life into this game. Yeah.
yeah. That's why
Um,
I think I'm afraid to start this one.
so um I would not recommend this game because it's too much of a grind. I'll put it at Desmond tier, but it is better than Origins. But for me, this game is not what Assassin's Creed is now going down the wrong path, in my opinion, with this game after Origins. But they already were making this game before Origins was even fucking released. But it came out the following
Yeah,
year.
because there wasn't
And
even a hidden, but like, wasn't there a hidden blade in Origins? But then there wasn't one in Odyssey.
no, because it's before the Assassins. But
Yeah,
you come across a sort of like guard who has the first ever hidden blade because you find even though the assassins began with Bayek, the hidden blade he came across that, remember, and he lost his finger with it when he was fighting that guy.
yeah, I do remember
Yeah,
that.
and stuff like that. And then everyone else then followed suit by cutting off their finger and stuff. But nevertheless, he found that a blade, and that blade belonged to Darius, who was in the Odyssey, and he had it over the arm, which is how what's his face has it in Valhalla, I believe.
For me, it's what's her face, Eivor.
Was Avon? Yeah. But regarding Odyssey, Desmond here,
Okay.
I'll take it to Van Halen, or Valhalla.
Van Halen. This is the game I'm currently playing over at my gaming channel called Milk Toast Gaming. Link will be in the description. Anyway, um, I'm about 65 hours into this game. Um, okay, so basically what it is you can choose to be a male or a female protagonist. You get to choose very quickly in the game whether or not you're going to be male or female. I think this is dumb. I chose female only because I feel like there's a serious lack of female assassins in Assassin's Creed, and honestly, female assassins are the funnest ones to play as. Like I loved the lady from from Liberation. I loved Evie from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I played as her as much as I could. And I played as Eivor as a female in this game, and I felt like after watching some of the male interactions versus my interactions with people, I feel like Eivor is better as a female than a male. The male's just like this big brute with a beard, and he's just like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah." But with Eivor, there's like she's got this depth to her. I feel like that's just like as being as a female assassin in a Viking era is just, and I mean she don't take shit from nobody. Like she is a just as hard as any of these Viking dudes, and they all respect her for it. They say, look, she's killed more people than we have. We'll follow her anywhere. Like I mean, and that's the way it should be. I this game is huge. I mean, I know I've heard Odyssey is huge. I know I've heard Origins is huge. I haven't explored both those games in their entirety.
Odyssey's huge.
Yeah, like uh, as you call it, Van Halen is just it is a massive game. I like the format because you're kind of you're going around, and okay, so the first like 7 or 8 hours, you're in Norway, you're doing the
Is
storyline
Norway
over there,
huge?
huh?
Is Norway just on it? I know you're in Norway and England,
Well,
but
yeah,
is
no, no,
Norway
no, no,
is
no.
not is
Norway,
Norway quite
Norway
big?
is a small piece of the map. I'm talking the England portion, and it's like the
Okay.
southeastern quadrant of England. So you got Wessex, you've got London, you've got Sussex, you've got there's Gannabridge, you've got
Some of these names have kind of changed over the years. Wessex and Sussex is still around.
Essex.
Gannabridge, it might be Essex is around. Yeah, Kent.
Kent is yeah, Kent. Actually, that's where I'm at right now.
Oh,
Okay, so anyway, so this game is you're playing as Eivor, who's a Viking. She is, and for me, it's a she because I wanted to play as a she in this game. It's very like kind of like Gangs of New York and London, like you were saying, but it's more alliance driven. Like you're going to win favor with people by helping them get other people out of power, and so you are really doing assassinations. The one thing I don't like about this game, and it's still there from Origins, is the hack and slash. I understand you're a Viking. You have this big ass axe, and you can even have two big ass axes in your hand. and you know that you want to use that and you want to slash slash slash. But and there are points in this game where there are some elegant parts to it where it's like you're an assassin and you're trying to kill somebody in the shadows. It's just few and far between. And I know it's a Viking thing, and I know that Vikings raid and they don't really they don't tread softly. Um,
Well, look, I was kind of if you don't mind me intervening,
no, that's fine. Go ahead.
um, um, one of the issues I had in this game was, the hack and slash, was I don't mind them doing stuff like that, but you've got to make it a bit more authentic. Like put some weight behind it. You know what I mean? Don't make it just like when you're like swinging an axe, it got to look like you're swinging a fucking axe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just like that for the sake of it. And I feel if they somehow like maybe worked on the weight mechanics for weapons, it would have maybe made the fighting more enjoyable because we could be maybe more parrying and shield blocking and stuff
Well,
like
and there
that.
is that. Like that's actually I don't know if that was an Odyssey, but I there is a lot of like
You can do countering, but
no,
there's
you
no
can also
shield.
parry and stuff like that.
Okay, you can. That's cool. That's cool.
I feel
Um,
like the fighting mechanics is a lot better than Origins, absolutely. But I mean the you know that's the only weak part. The scenery and the views are just amazing. The village or the settlement, the Viking settlement that you're making is really cool, and I like the way they did it. You have to plunder other places in London, not in London, in England to build up your settlement. I mean, it makes sense because Vikings raid. They go a Viking. Um, the story, in my opinion, is much better than Origins for sure, and then a lot of them. Um,
the modern day or like just the
there
overall
is
story.
modern day, but as you know, with me, see that's the problem with me is that I don't care about the modern day. They have only forced me to go out of the Animus once since I've been playing this game. I know I should go
Mhm.
out more, but they have forced me to go out of the Animus once. In 65 hours, I have gone out of the Animus once.
That's fair enough. I mean, like, I never leave the Animus until they make me, and then when I do, I make sure I look at all the shit outside the Animus,
Oh, yeah,
and I
absolutely.
cover all of it. But when you go, when you access the computers and you got all those, I don't bother with any of that
Yeah,
shit.
no, the
You know what
emails
I
and
mean?
all that other.
Oh,
The
fuck
only
all
thing I
that.
ever look for is like a message from Desmond, if like or like oh I think there was like
Well,
I forwarded you this message from Desmond about something or whatever.
apparently Aiden Pierce is in one of the emails, from Watch Dogs.
No, is he? I don't know.
Yeah, like there's a clip of him or something like that. You know,
Well, good
he might.
because
So,
that's one of my favorite assassins in Assassin's Creed is Aiden Pierce.
so, but
I
like
know it's from Watch Dogs.
one of the reasons, like I said, I didn't get this game was the fact that I just don't like this game engine at all. This game engine was used for Origins, it was used for Odyssey, and now it's used for this game. This is not how I like my Assassin's Creed to look. I don't like it looking like this. I don't like it moving like this. I prefer, funnily enough, even though this is newer, I prefer the older. And I purposely didn't want to experience this sort of gameplay again. But even though it might be different in various ways, it still feels very similar. And what I've heard from a lot of people is very similar to Odyssey, and that's enough for me to not get this game anytime soon.
Um, I'm gonna for me I'm gonna put this. I want to put it Assassin's tier, but I think I'm gonna go for Desmond tier. Not because I'm not enjoying the game. I've been playing it for 65 hours. I am enjoying it, but a lot of the critiques and the detriments to it are sound. Like it is there are legit issues with the franchise, and I feel like Valhalla could be a good game. I just feel like the gaming studio is not allowing it to be something more than it should be. The game's massive. There's good writing here. There's good voice acting too. I love the voice acting in this game. And I mean, I love exploring a lot of these areas, and it's massive. And those are all the good things. But Zam, we've gone on long enough. I think that this
Yeah,
is a good place to stop. What did everybody think of our tier list? Please check out part one if you have not already. We'll also have a complete tier list of parts one and two coming out, and not long after this one comes out. So if you did watch part one and two, I appreciate it, and give the complete list a click when it comes out to show your support. Zam, I mean, do you have anything else to add besides what you've already said?
Um, no, I
All
think
right.
I've said enough. I'll
You
be
need to
repeating
play
myself.
Rogue because I swear to God, if you don't play Rogue, I will come over there to London myself and I will cram a bagel down your throat. Okay, so
Bagel. Out of all the things you can think of, bring the bagel from your country then
no,
at
I'm gonna
least.
bring an
Yeah.
English muffin and shove it down your
There we
throat.
go. That's more like a scone.
A scone, yeah.
A scone. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. If you have any suggestions for any other tier list you'd like to see us make, if it's something that we've played a lot of, or at least played the majority of, we'll give it a shot. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Zam, take us out.
Bye bye, everyone.